Hello aspirants, very warm welcome to Skholar IAS. This is Rohan Dange, your faculty for the day. And we will be talking about some issues associated with economy today. And in those issues, I will be taking forward some recent news articles which have suggested RBI's stand on cryptocurrencies. Now, why am I speaking about cryptocurrencies? Is very simple, is because very recently we have seen that the government is also mulling over the proposal of introducing a digital currency, although it is still in the pipeline and it's still a long way to go, but still, at least it is in the news. We have also seen how Bitcoin has eroded in value, and we have also seen how other cryptocurrencies are also making their presence felt. In fact, a lot of applications are also being advertised these days, which will help you in dealing with cryptocurrencies to the extent that they are now also being televised on television, right? So quite naturally, this becomes an important issue, and RBI has issued a clarification on the same. So we need to investigate, or we need to take a more detailed view of RBI's clarification. Okay, so let's take a look at that, because RBI's clarification will be a mirror to what government is thinking. So some leading banks have cautioned people against the dealing in cryptocurrencies because, as I've told you, the fall in the price of Bitcoin has actually led to a erosion of wealth for a lot of people who were dealing in cryptocurrencies, at least on the dark web, which is underground network on the internet. Right. Now, what did the RBI say and what was the trigger? So State Bank of India and HDFC Bank had cautioned their customers against dealing in virtual currencies such as Bitcoin. And they cited the April 2018 order of the RBI on virtual currencies. So the banks had also warned customers that failure to adhere to the advisory may lead to cancellation or suspension of their cards, because RBI has to take a stand. And we need not forget the fact that RBI at the end of the day is a regulatory body also, and any regulatory body would take a tough stand like that, keeping in view that we have to also adhere to the norms prescribed. So RBI had no option but to allow, after, because the Supreme Court quite clearly lifted the ban in 2020. Okay, so RBI ने क्या clarification दिया? RBI the clarification is expected to give some relief to the customers who have invested in cryptocurrencies, because अब suddenly ये नहीं होगा कि RBI ने उन currencies को ban कर दिया, because Supreme Court ने तो ban lift कर दिया, right? But people were, or rather than people, market was in a state of speculation, which was leading to a lot of anxiety. So now that anxiety is gone. Why? Because as you can see on your screens, many Indians had invested in cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin and Ethereum. Right, and that was to the tune of more than 10,000 crores. Already we are in a situation of a pandemic. Now, after this pandemic situation, we cannot bear, or we cannot sustain the losses, right, as a market, as a collective entity. Okay, so the banks as well as other entities have addressed many issues, and they may continue to carry out customer due diligence process with existing mechanisms, right? Like KYC, know your customer. Anti-money laundering activities will also be put under the scanner. Combating of financing of terrorism will be taken care of. PMLA, right? Prevention of Money Laundering Act. FEMA, that is Foreign Exchange Management Act. So all of these things will once again come into picture and once again get activated, right? Now, since RBI and the government are of the opinion that introducing a digital currency would be detrimental, because ensuring its viability, ensuring its safety is going to require a installation of robust cyber architecture, which unfortunately we don't have, right? But looking at how cryptocurrencies are having a magnetizing impact on the consumers, looking at how many Indians actually hold cryptocurrencies on the dark web, it is only a matter of time before it spreads like wildfire. In fact, some estimates or some economists have also suggested like cryptocurrencies may have the same level of penetration in the market as our insurance products. Okay, so keeping in view that RBI is now in the process of developing its own virtual currency. So sooner or later we will have a digital currency in India, which नीति आयोग had also suggested, जिसका नाम था भारत कॉइन, राइट? हो सकता है कि ये अब आ जाए, मार्केट में. ओके, नाउ लेट्स टॉक अबाउट रूरल इंडिया, which was economic savior in 2020-21. ये एक मेंस का टॉपिक हो सकता है या एक ऐसे बेस्ड टॉपिक हो सकता है. ठीक है, सो यहाँ पे इशू क्या है? द ईयर 2021 or 2020-21 saw the Indian economy register its worst ever contraction since independence. In fact, it was in the negative territory, and all of us know why. Because of the coronavirus induced pandemic, when the entire country suddenly came to a standstill. Now, rural economy was still resilient, and in fact, it registered a growth, right? So this was very heartening. At the same time, this ensured food security for the country, and it gave farm income to the farmers, which is very important, right? Now, aisa nahi hai ki we have not had negative growth earlier. There have been instances of negative growth in the past also, like in the year 1979-80, 1972-73, 1965-66, 1957-58. These are the 4 instances. You can use these years at least to write it in your mains or in your essay, right? If you remember, that's good. If you don't remember, that's also fine. But these are the 4 instances where the global Indian growth story had sunk. Now, what is the commonality here? The commonality is that these were drought years, right? Now, is it surprising that in a drought year, India is registering a negative growth? No. Why? It's because the simple fact that India has always been traditionally a agrarian economy. India has been an agrarian economy as always, right? Now, of course, now in the 21st century, we have started making that move towards being a service sector oriented economy. But as Raghuram Rajan had once famously said, that India is still a third world country with a first world economy. So that third world still thrives on agriculture. Now, was this 2020 a drought year? No, we have had substantial and expected rainfall, right? So rains performed, monsoons performed in India. So there was no reason for the farming community to register losses, right? So there has been a record economic contraction in the economy, but there has been no drought. So this has been an exceptional year. This is an odd man out if you talk about all these 5 instances. So the farm sector, that is agriculture, forestry and fishing, actually grew by a rate of 3.6%. Now, of course, the reason for that is substantial monsoon in the period of June to September for 2019 and 2020. And in fact, this was above normal. The country received 971.8 mm and 961.4 mm monsoon rainfall respectively. And also the long period average was 880.6 mm. Now, rainfall in the post-monsoon, winter and pre-monsoon seasons of 2019 and 2020 was also good, right? So we had back-to-back bumper harvest. अब यहाँ पे एक अलग प्रॉब्लम आ जाती है थोड़ा एग्रीकल्चर की, अगर मैं बारे में बात करूं तो जब आपके पास बम्पर हार्वेस्ट आती है तब वो ये सकता है कि इट माइट लीड टू अ ड्रॉप इन द प्राइसेस. ओके, कैसे? बिकॉज सप्लाई ज्यादा हो रहा है ना, बिकॉज बम्पर हार्वेस्ट है, सप्लाई ज्यादा होगा तो prices of food crops will go down. If the prices of food crops go down, then the farm income will go down. If the farm income goes down, then overall consumption in the economy will also go down. If the overall consumption in the Indian economy goes down, then eventually what will happen? Eventually it will lead to a vicious cycle in the economy, because consumption if it goes down, then the balance sheet of the corporate sector also gets affected. Let's not forget that. So the health and the robustness of our agrarian community and its income is very important, which is affected because of back-to-back bumper harvest also. So देखो bumper harvest होना भी अच्छी बात नहीं, हालांकि उसके लिए हमारे पास एक इंश्योरेंस मैकेनिज्म है जिसे हम कहते हैं MSP, मिनिमम सपोर्ट प्राइस, राइट? जिस मिनिमम सपोर्ट प्राइस ensures that a minimum level of price fixation will lead to income augmentation of the farmers, right? So there was also the inherent resilience and adaptability of rural economic actors, right? And the farm sector was relatively insulated from lockdown imposed supply side restrictions, right? Supply side के जो भी restrictions थे उसने ज्यादा farm sector को affect नहीं किया. Supply side के restrictions मतलब भैया seeds नहीं है या आपके पास fertilizer नहीं है, right? इस तरह की दिक्कतें इस साल देखी नहीं गई. Okay, agriculture में जो भी problem आया था that was because of lockdown. सो बेसिकली डिमांड साइड पे प्रॉब्लम आई है, सप्लाई साइड पे प्रॉब्लम नहीं है। ड्रॉट ईयर्स में क्या होता है, सप्लाई साइड में प्रॉब्लम होती है कि फार्मर्स के पास पैसे नहीं है, फार्मर्स के पास रिसोर्सेस नहीं है, सीड्स नहीं है, फर्टिलाइजर नहीं है। इन सब चीजों की वजह से क्या हो जाता है कि सप्लाई साइड रिस्ट्रिक्शंस बढ़ जाते हैं, राइट। सो बेसिकली प्राइसेस डिड नॉट राइज, राइट। नाउ how did we address these demand side problems? So the demand side problem was partly addressed through enhanced state crop procurement under the MSP scheme. MSP is minimum support price, and there was also the first installment of direct transfers into the accounts of the farmers, that is through the PM Kisan scheme. So DBT, direct benefit transfer, had also helped the farming sector tide over the coronavirus induced pandemic, right? इससे क्या हुआ, there was much required liquidity in the agrarian system, and because of that the demand situation improved with the gradual lifting of lockdown restrictions, right? अब यहाँ पे MSP procurement intervention was not possible, okay, because of various limitations of the government, and it did not also help in regions. Example, the maize also suffered in Bihar, where institutional mechanisms for procurement were non-existent. अभी कई because of lockdown situation manpower भी नहीं है, manpower अगर है तो आपके पास गाड़ियां नहीं है, गाड़ियां है तो आपके पास गोडाउन्स रेडी नहीं है, राइट, या सैनिटाइज गोडाउन्स रेडी नहीं है, तो बहुत सारे प्रॉब्लम्स। So this is how the demand side problems were addressed, okay. So with this we come to the end of today's lecture. I have spoken about cryptocurrencies and rural economy, and I have given you a sneak peek into how Indian economy is moving forward and what are the current challenges that are facing the Indian economy, right? So till the time we meet next, this is Rohan Dange signing from Skholar IAS. Thank you. Take care.